This video is going to cover the limbs of the bones of the lower limb. So we are going to look at the femur first. So here's the femur. It has a very noticeable head. So you can see that head that's going to fit into the socket of the pelvic bone. So you can see right here, this is the head. Here's the head of the femur. Right here is going to be the anatomical neck. So right around here is the anatomical neck. And then around here, this is going to be the surgical neck. So head, anatomical neck, surgical neck here. There are two trochanters, a greater and lesser trochanter. If we turn this here to the kind of the posterior side, it's easier to see both of those. So the greater trochanter is this big one here, and the lesser trochanter is here. Then we have two features that deal with the trochanters. So this is on the posterior side. So if we're looking at this, here's the posterior side. You can see this right here is going to be the intertrochanteric crest. And if we flip to the anterior side, we can see right here, this is the intertrochanteric line. So this one looks like a line more than this one looks like kind of a ridge. So that's why it's a crest there. Then we're going to stay on that posterior side. If we look back here, you can see this big rough spot right here. That's going to be the gluteal tuberosity, so that's where the gluteus muscle is going to attach. Then as you come down, you see this big line, this rough part that's right here. That is the linea aspera, that's right here. So that's gluteal tuberosity and linea aspera. Then as we move down, we're still on that posterior side, you can see the two condyles. So when we look at this, you always want to think that the head, where the head is right here, that is going to be the medial side. So this will be our medial condyle and our lateral condyle here. So we have both of those. Then the depression that's here is the intercondylar fossa. So we're seeing that. Also on the posterior side, above or superior to that intercondylar fossa, is going to be the popliteal surface. If we flip to the anterior side, we can see right in here is going to be the patellar surface. So we have that. The whole portion of the bone from here to here is the diaphysis or shaft of the femur. You can also see on the sides here, so once again, this is the medial side here because that's where the head is. So the bump on the side here, that's going to be our medial epicondyle, and on the lateral side here is the lateral epicondyle. So those are all the features of the femur. Now we're going to move to the lower limb bones. So we have the tibia and the fibula. So this is the tibia. So it is the larger of the two bones. So if I put them next to each other, you can see the size difference. So this is the tibia and the fibula. So when we look at the tibia, you can see, we're going to move this down here. So this bump that you're seeing right here is the tibial tuberosity. Then if you kind of turn this here, and you're going to see the condyle. So when we look at this, another thing you want to kind of pay attention to is, we're going to do this real quick. The medial malleolus is right here. So this is on the medial side. So medial malleolus. So that means when we come up here, that means this is going to be our medial condyle right here. And then over here will be our lateral condyle. So we have that. If we flip kind of to the back, you can still see, move this where you guys can see both of them. So this is our medial side, there's our medial malleolus. So medial condyle, lateral condyle, and in between the two is the intercondylar eminence. So an eminence, like if his eminence is some like royalty, so someone high in stature, so the eminence is something that's prominent, sticks up. So intercondylar eminence is there. So those are the features on the tibia. Now the fibula, this bone doesn't have a lot of features, so we are just going to name two things. So we have the apex or styloid process. So when we look at this, you see the two ends and they look kind of similar. I always tell my students, it's almost more of like a feel kind of thing. So the one that's more rounded versus the one that's more flat, when you look at this, so this down here where I'm pointing to now is more flat. The flattened one will be that it's going to be the lateral malleolus, and the one that's more circular or rounded, that is going to be the apex or styloid process there. So that's going to be the fibula.